So sometimes in marriage therapy, I have people come in and say our biggest problem is communication. Kevin, how do you talk to people that have issues with communication in their marriage?
Well, it starts with you. Right there where you're sitting, the person speaking, we can't communicate. Well, how are you doing at listening? Half of the equation is talking, half of the equation is listening. And sometimes it's hard to trust that you want to listen to what the other person's saying.
Yeah. Also, communication has to do with an interaction between two people. And if I'm trying to communicate with somebody, I have a motive or a goal. If I'm asking my wife something, I'm looking for an answer. Let's just say this. Let's say my wife says something to me and it's rude. And I want to find out why she said that to me. Well, if I go to her and I say, why'd you say that to me? Blah, 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 blah. And I start being mean and call her names. Well, then she gets to say, well, I'm not going to talk to you if you're going to talk to me like that. And she leaves. What happened there? Well, I just gave her an out. Now she doesn't have to hold herself accountable for answering the question of why she talked to me that way. Sometimes communication can be when both people escalate something and then nothing gets done, and we call that unresolved conflict.
Oh, unresolved conflict, that builds up over time. And when we think that communication doesn't work, we stop doing it. Gottman said there were these precursors that lead to divorce, and one of them was called stonewalling. And that's when we stop communicating, which is usually the result of us thinking that our communication isn't working. I'm a therapist, as you can probably tell. It says on my shirt and on the website. And sometimes I'm woefully guilty of under-communicating. I just don't say all of the things that I'm thinking because, well, I don't want to pick a fight or I don't want to hurt feelings, when really sometimes we need to get a little bit uncomfortable and face the problems that we're having.
Yeah, a lot of times with communication too, we have these running narratives in our mind, and whenever we take in information, we have to fit that information into those narratives. And if we don't, and we can't, then we have what we call cognitive dissonance. We either have to then change the narrative or we have to manipulate the information to fit the narrative. So a lot of times when we're having conversations or interactions with our spouse, we have to understand that we can't just start projecting what we think that they're trying to say, what we think their motive is, because we have a narrative that's going in our head, and if we try to fit everything they have, everything they say into our narratives, we might get a lot of things wrong and cause a lot of conflict that's unnecessary.
In my mind right now, it's a Friday night, you're sitting on the couch with your spouse watching Kevin Owen Christian counseling videos like you always do. I want you to look at the person you're sitting next to, and I need you to understand that the person you're sitting next to needs you to succeed. They need you to do well in life, and you need them to do well. You need them to succeed. So start imagining the best in the person you're sitting next to. Sometimes we give a dog a bad name. Your name shall be Stinky. And if you name the person you're married to bad communicator, they're going to live up to that name. Start giving them a new name and start assuming that maybe what they're saying isn't coming from a place of maliciousness or rudeness. Maybe they actually do want to talk.
That's very possible. Probably very plausible as well. Remember, marriage is a team sport. You either both win or you both lose.
If you have some marriage stuff, as most marriages do have some stuff, maybe a counselor would help. Preventative care is an important thing. I change the oil in my car, and sometimes it's not a bad idea to get a little extra perspective or go into a place where you can say things that you weren't going to say in your kitchen because, well, it's hard to do that. Jack's a marriage counselor. In fact, he's a real good one, and so am I, and we would love to work with you on marriage stuff.